another video in the quantitative aptitude section, and this time we'll be looking at a topic which is from quantitative section, and it is probability. Now probability is a very, I'd say, it is like a field of specialization in mathematics. If you've uh, looked at mathematicians around the world, it is like a field of specialization, like how you'll have information technology, how you'll have electronics engineering. So within the branch of mathematics, probability itself is like an ocean where you have lots of things to study. Okay, but from the perspective of placements and other exams, we are just going to look at what the basics of probability is and how they ask in such exams. Okay, so but you can have this as a comprehensive guide for you guys to prepare for probability. So that is the most important thing. You can use this because this is very foundational, because this is very basic. What you can do is you can use this for any type of preparation. So be it bank exams, be it MBA entrance exams, wherever you have aptitude tests and quants in that, you can use this probability foundations. All right, right. So let's get started with this. Um, now, a coin is tossed, and if you are asked about the chances of you getting a tail, okay. So let's understand the situation. So we have a situation where a coin is being tossed. So you are tossing a coin, okay. Now, when you toss a coin, you are asked about the chances of getting a tail. So what could be the answer, guys? You can just pause the video here and then try to come up with answers. Coin is tossed, and if you're asked about the chances of getting a tail, so what would be our answer? Yes, so I hope you paused the video and got the answer. See, some would say the answer is 50 percentage. Some of you might say the answer is 50 percentage. Some would say the answer is 1 by 2. There is half a chance. That is what they'll say. They'll say there is half a chance for it. Okay. Now some would say the answer is zero point 0.5. Okay. They'll say it is 0.5 is the probability. That is what they'll say. Now all these are same. Okay. 50 percentage, 1 by 2, zero point 0.5. Don't think they are all different. They indicate the same quantity. Okay. By quantity, what I mean is, guys, see this half. We have a half here, right? This is half out of 1. Okay, this is half out of 1. This again, this zero point 0.5, guys, is zero point 0.5 out of 1, right? So this zero point 0.5 will be out of 1, right? So these zero point 0.5 and half are just two different representations, guys. It is of the same number. It is fractional representation. This is decimal notation, right? But when do we say, but how does 50 percentage equal to this? Because in 50 percentage, the whole is 100. Okay, in 50 percentage, the whole is 100. Okay, the whole is 100. So half of 100 is 50 percentage. So the whole is 1, half of 1 is 1 by 2. The whole is 1, half of 1 is 0.5. Right? So so essentially this is what is happening here. Okay, so you will always see the words that are associated with probability. Okay, they'll say probability. What they'll ask you, what is the probability, or they might ask you what are the chances. Yes, it is true, they'll ask you what are the chances of you getting a tail, or they might ask you what is the possibility. Okay, what is the possibility of getting a tail? Now all these three mean the same thing, ditto. Okay, they all mean the same thing. They use these things interchangeably. Okay, probability, chances, possibility, all these things, they use it interchangeably, right? So so make sure that you understand this. So with this understanding, we'll get into the problems, guys, right? So this is what it is, guys. Like I told you, your answer would be 1 by 2 or 50 percentage or zero point 0.5. Okay. Now all these are right. I am not saying anything. Any of these things are wrong. All these are right. But if you have a look at the formula, okay, look at the formula for probability. This is one formula I would say you should remember. Okay, and there are not many formulas for you to remember in probability. There are very few, but there is one. If it is one thing that you should remember for sure, it is this formula. Okay, because every all the questions in this topic is going to invariably ask you to find the probability. Okay, so you cannot change that. All the questions, they are going to ask you to find the probability. They may use different words like chances, possibility, something like that, but eventually or invariably you'll have to find the probability to end the question. Now if you have to find the probability, you have to apply this formula. There is no other way. There is no shortcut for this, guys. If you, whenever you have to find the probability, replace the word probability with favorable by total. Okay, favorable events by total number of events. So replace the word probability by favorable events by total number of events. Okay, so I want you to understand this. Okay, now let's understand what is favorable event and what is total number of events. That we'll understand first, because for every question you will have to identify the favorable events, then you will have to identify the total number of events. Only then you will be able to substitute that value in this formula, right? If you know, if you're not sure what the favorable event is and total number of events is, then it becomes difficult. Okay, so let us try to understand that first. Okay, now a coin is tossed, so this is the event that is happening. Okay, I wouldn't say event as this is the action or the thing that is happening. A coin is tossed. Now what are the possible outcomes? Okay, or I'd say, see, if you are like having confusion total number of events, if it confuses you, you can also take it as total number of outcomes. Okay, instead of events. Okay, I'll write it like this. Okay, so I'll strike this out. Instead of events, guys, just take it as outcomes. At the beginning it will make confusion for you, so if I say events you'll get confused, so we'll keep it as outcomes. So favorable outcomes by total outcomes, right? So favorable outcomes by total outcomes, right? Yes. So this is probability. This is probability is favorable outcomes by total outcomes. Now the event which is happening here. What is the event which is happening here? The event that is happening here is tossing a coin. Okay, tossing a coin is the event. Now what is the total number of outcomes? When you toss a coin, what is the total number of outcomes? What you have to see, when that event happens, what are the total number of possibilities? That is what you have to see. When that event happens, what are the possible outcomes is what you have to see. Okay, so while you toss a coin, either you get a head or you get a tail. There is no other way it can turn out, right? You can either get a head or get a tail. So here I'd say heads comma tails is the total number of outcomes. Okay, so this is what is total outcomes. It should be either heads or tails. There is no other possibility. So I'll say this is the total outcomes, guys. Okay, now if I say event is tossing a coin, right? Now what is the favorable outcome? Here the favorable outcome is always the outcome for which you are finding the probability. Yes, you understand this. The favorable outcome is the outcome for which you are finding the probability. Okay, so here the favorable outcome will be in this question, for which outcome are you finding the probability? You are asked to find the probability of getting a tail. So your favorable outcome is tail. So here your favorable outcome will be tail. So I'll take this tail and then mark it as my favorable outcome. Okay, so this is my favorable outcome. Okay, so now see how many total outcomes you have. Two. How many favorable you have? One. just substitute it here. So if you substitute it here, what will happen? If you substitute it here, you will see it becomes 1 by 2. Yes, now you understand this reason behind 1 by 2. Yes, you have to understand the reason behind 1 by 2, guys, because it is very important. Because most of them, what happens is they just instinctively say the answer is 1 by 2 or zero point 0.5. They say that, but they do not know what this exactly means. Okay, so you have to understand this 1 by 2 came about only because of this reason. Okay, 1 by 2 is because it is favorable by total. So whenever you come across a question, okay, whenever you come across a question where you are asked to find probability, just replace that probability, the word which says probability, with favorable outcomes by total outcomes. Okay, so we'll see more problems, then I think you'll get convenient. We'll see more problems. So you can see there's something in green. We'll see what it says. Note that the probability will always be between 0 and 1, as the favorable event will never be more than total number of events. Okay, now let us now, can the favorable event ever be greater than total number of events, guys? You tell me. In this example, the total number of events or outcomes, I shouldn't say event, outcomes, the total number of outcomes was head comma tail. Now this favorable is tail. Okay, now can the favorable events ever be greater than the total number of events? That is what I'm asking. Okay, it cannot be greater, right? The maximum is it can equal the total number of events. They can ask you what is the probability of getting a head or a tail, right? If they ask you such question where they say what is the probability of getting a head or a tail, it means the favorable event is h comma t, right? Head or a tail. So head you get, okay, tail you get, that is also okay. So favorable is h comma t, total is h comma t. So in that case the probability will be 1, right? The probability will be 1. So the maximum that can happen is the favorable events and total number of events being equal. Okay, favorable events and total number of events being equal is the maximum that can happen. So the maximum probability will always be what? It will always be 1. Okay, so pay close attention here. The maximum probability will be 1. Okay, the minimum probability will always be 0. Okay, and the value between 0 and 1, the value between 0 and 1 is what we call as probability. Okay, it is very very important that you understand this case. Okay, right? So this is the reason, guys. The reason why it cannot go beyond 1 is the favorable events cannot be greater than total number of events. If it is greater than total number of events, then it can go beyond 1, right? Because then it will become a proper improper fraction. Okay, when, okay, let me show an example. If the favorable events were 3 and the total number of events were 2, okay, which can never happen, but if that is the case, then now see it is 1.5. It has, the probability has gone beyond 1, but this can never happen, right? Total number of events itself is 2. Out of that favorable, how can it be 3? The maximum it can be is 2. Okay, so this is the reason. So whenever you get an improper fraction, this improper fraction can never be a probability. It means you've got a wrong answer. So this is a very good indicator when you are trying to solve a probability problem, guys. This is a very good indicator. If your answer is an improper fraction, now some of you might ask, what is improper fraction, sir? Yeah, I know that. Improper fraction is a fraction which is not between 0 and 1. If the value of the fraction is between 0 and 1, it is called a proper fraction. For example, this is a proper fraction because the value is between what? 0 and 1. Or in other words, you could say the numerator will be less than denominator. Okay, in proper fraction. In a proper fraction, the numerator will be less than or equal to denominator. You can say that. Okay. If the numerator is greater than the denominator, it means it is an improper fraction, like in this case 3 by 2. So how will your probabilities be? Will it be proper fractions or improper fractions? I told you, right? Yeah, the proper fractions, it will be less than or equal to. So favorable evils will always be less than or equal to number of total number of outcomes. So the favorable outcomes are always less than or equal to. So the probability also will always be a proper fraction. Okay. If you are getting improper fraction, then it is a red flag. Okay. It is a red flag to indicate that something you've done something wrong in the calculation. Okay. So we'll see in detail what is 0 and 1. Okay. Right, so probability of 0. Okay, so when do we say the probability is 0? Very, very important thing to understand when it comes to probability. There are sometimes we say probability is 0. You have to understand when it is probability is 0. Okay, now this is the situation, guys. This is the probability of an impossible event. So when probability is 0, we'll say the event is impossible, or I should say the event happening is impossible. The event will never happen. Now, what could be the examples? For example, the probability of getting a number 0 in a throw of a die. Okay, you know this, right? In a dice, right, guys? You know this dice, right? So I'll do this. Okay. So this is the dice, guys. Okay. When you have two of this, you call it dice, and because we just have one, I call it a die. Okay, D-I-E. Okay. If you have two, you call it a dice. Okay. Now you know this. You've seen this. I know most of you would have seen this. Now, when you see this, what I want you guys to tell me is, okay, you see this. Okay, you see that you have a die. How many faces will a die have? How many phases will it have? Many of you would have played this games of snakes and ladders, and you would have seen dice. Nowadays, I think we have snakes and ladder game without dice. Anyway, so you will see that you have a die. How many phases are there? There are six phases, right? So when you just roll the die, you just roll one die. Okay, when you roll one die, what are the possible outcomes? When you roll one die, you can have one, yes, one can turn up, right? Or two can turn up, or three can turn up, four possible, five possible, six, correct? These are the possible outcomes or total number of outcomes. Now what did I tell you? Probability will be equal to favorable by total. Okay, I'll just now write f by t. Okay, so probability is nothing but favorable by total, guys. So here what is favorable? Favorable will come to that. Total, what is the total? There are six possibilities here, so I'll mark it as 6. What is favorable? So for favorable outcome is the outcome for which we are finding the probability. So here for which outcome are we finding the probability? We are finding the probability of getting a number 0. Okay, now what is the favorable outcome? You have to get 0. So the favorable outcome here is 0. Now do you have a 0 here? Out of the total outcomes, do you have a 0 here? No, right? So how many favorable outcomes are there? There are no favorable outcomes, correct? Our favorable outcome is to get a 0. Okay, that is our favorable outcome. Why is that the favorable outcome? Because the favorable outcome is derived from the question which says the probability of getting a number 0. So the probability of something which is mentioned in the question will become the favorable outcome for you. So here we are finding the probability of getting a number 0. So the probability of favorable outcome is 0. Okay, so because we don't have a 0 here, so our favorable outcomes becomes what? 0. So 0 by 6 will give you 0, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Okay, this is what we call as an impossible event. See, you keep rolling dice, I mean a die. Okay, you keep rolling from morning to evening, you keep rolling. You think you'll ever get a 0? Okay, even if you roll it for 10 days continuously, you roll it for 10 days continuously, you think you're going to get 0? It is never going to happen, right? So such events, okay, such events which never happen. So I've written it here, right? So an event which will never happen. Okay, however hard you try, that event will never happen. Okay, even if you hang upside down on a tree, that will never happen. Okay. uh, okay, so this is 0, right? Now comes the probability of 1. Okay, it is the other extreme end. Okay, 0 is the left extreme end, 1 will be the right extreme end. Okay. Now 1 is when this is the probability of a certain event. Okay, so there are words which particular words which are used in the probability community. Okay. For example, if the probability is 0, they'll never say probability is 0. What they'll say is they'll say what is they'll say impossible event. They'll talk about impossible event. For a layman hearing the word impossible event, he wouldn't know the probability is 0. But now we know, right? Whenever they talk about an impossible event, they are talking about probability of 0. Similarly, on the other hand, probability of 1, you can call it a certain event. Okay, by what do I mean by a certain event? An event which will all surely happen. Okay. Now, in the previous example, I said something about hanging upside down the tree. Did you understand that? Yes. What I told you is, even if you hang upside down the tree, there is a very famous euphemism in Tamil, guys. So if you're outside Tamil Nadu, you won't understand this. Okay. Um, if you stand out, even if you stand upside down, hanging to a tree, okay, or even if you stand upside down on a floor or something, that will not happen. Okay, so that is 0. Okay, so because standing upside down is considered to be a very difficult task. Okay, so because it is a difficult task, even if you do that, that will not happen. Even if you do the difficult task, that will not happen. That is the meaning here. So here, as probability of 1 also, I'm going to give you the same example. Even if you stand upside down, it is not that that event won't happen. Even if you stand upside down or hang from a tree upside down, you cannot stop this event from being happening, or you cannot stop this event from occurring. Okay, there is no way you can stop it. This will happen 100%. Yes, so this is the meaning of probability of 1. An event which surely will happen. Under no circumstances, guys, this event won't happen. uh, sorry uh, sorry under no circumstances this event will fail to happen. Okay, it will always happen, it will surely happen. Okay, an example is, I could give you this example. Yes, so probability of getting a number between 1 and 6 in a throw of a die. See, you throw a die. I told you, right, the possibility, what are the possibilities? If you throw a die, what will happen is you have these possibilities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So you throw a die, each time you will get any one of the six numbers, correct? Now you have to find the probability of getting a number between 1 and 6. So the probability of which, of course, which includes 1 and 6. Okay, so this includes 1 and 6. That is what I mean. Okay, it is not 2, 3, 4, 5. It is includes 1 and 6. So by that, what do I mean? Probability of getting a number between 1 and 6 in a throw of a die is actually what is happening is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have to, our total number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our favorable is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because that is what we are finding the probability of, right? We are finding the probability of getting a number between 1 through 6, so which includes 1 and 6. Okay, so here our total is equal to favorable, so it is 1. Or if you want to look at it in a different way, guys, here the event which will surely happen. Okay, the probability of this event is surely, the the probability is 1 because the event will surely happen. Okay, so probability of 1. Okay, so these are the two polarities or ends, I'd say, that we have to carefully watch, guys. Now, right, I'd like to talk to you about something. See, 0 is a impossible event, 1 is a sure event, right? So this is a sure event, this will be an impossible event. Okay, This is going to be an impossible event, guys. Okay, which is 0. So this is going to be a sure event, right? So this is going to be a sure event, guys. So this is going to be sure event. So you are, whenever you find probabilities in questions, they'll ask you, right? So it can either be 0 or 1. Sometimes yes, it could be 0 where you find that it is an impossible event. Sometimes it could be 1 where you find that it is a sure event. Okay, it could either be 0 or it could either be 1. There is no doubt in that. Okay, but usually the value of probability will always be between 0 and 1. Okay, and you know what the reason is. Okay, so sometimes it's impossible event, sometimes it is a sure event, and most of the times the value will be between 0 and 1. Okay, so the value of probability, make a note of this, guys. The value of probability is either 0 or 1 or a value between 0 and 1. These are the three possible chances. Any other value you tell me as probability, then you did not understand what I just told you. Okay, so the value of probability could be 0 or 1 or any value between, it could be greater than 0 and less than 1. Okay, so if x is the probability, then it could be 0. So x could be, here you could mark this as x equal to 0. So the probability of x is 0, x equal to 1, or the value of x could be between 0 and 1. Okay, so this could be between 0 and 1. Okay, so this is it, guys. So so make sure this is, so with this understanding we can move on to the next session. Right, when a die is thrown, there are 6 possible outcomes. Okay, so we are looking at the possible outcomes, and yes, so it is 6 power 1. Okay, now when two dice are thrown simultaneously, so in one hand you take a die, on the other hand you take a die, and roll it at the same time. So that is throwing two dice simultaneously. Okay, now if you do that, you will find there are 6 possibilities in the first die. There are again another 6 possibilities in the second die. Okay, so what will be the total number of possibilities? It will be 6 into 6, right? Yes, you will have 6 into 6 possibilities. Okay, so you guys know that for the first one it is 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. Yes, so those are the 6 possibilities, right? 1 to 6 is the possibilities when you throw a single die. But when you throw two dice, it is like this: 1 comma 1, this is the first possibility, 1 comma 2, then 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4, 1 comma 5, 1 comma 6, right? So not only this, then we'll have 2, 1, okay, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, right? 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6. Okay, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6. Okay, and right, so these are the 36 possibilities, guys. So you can see 6 here, 6, 6, 6, 6, totally 36 possibilities. So when you throw two dice, the first dice you could have 1 and the second dice you could have 1 possibility, or first dice you could have 1, second dice you could have 2, or first dice you could have 4 and the second dice you could have 3, or in the first days you could have 2 and the second days you could have 6, or in the first days you could have 6, second days you could have 2. See, you can see, you're able to get this now. So this is 36. Okay, so what happens is 36 is nothing but, what is 36? 36 is number 6 squared, right? Now instead of two dice, you are throwing three dice simultaneously. What will happen? When 3 dice are thrown, 216 possibilities will be there. Okay, when 3 dice are thrown, there will be 216 possibilities. So what are those 216 possibilities, guys? We'll have a look. Okay, now it is nothing but the first one can 1 1 1, right? This is one possibility, 1 1 2. This is one possibility, right? Then 1 1 3. This is one possibility. 1 1 4. This is one possibility. So you are essentially, what you are trying to do is you are arranging three things from six things. Okay, if you arrange three things from six things, what will you get? 6p3. Yes, so you have six digits. You will have to arrange all the six digits. Okay, with repetition, of course, with repetition. So when that happens, you will have, you remember this, how is, look at this. Okay, I am applying permutation concept in probability. This is how everything is interconnected, and especially PNC and probability, permutation, combination and probability are very interconnected, guys. So I'll just remove this and give you a good explanation. So these are the digits, right, guys? These are the possibilities, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now you have thrown three dices. You have thrown three dices. You can repeat the digits, right? The digits can be repeated. Okay, for example, when you throw three dices, here you can have one. Similarly here, when I say digits, is not digits, it is the value of the dice. So first dice, this is dice 1, this is dice 2, this is dice 3. Yes, so in how many ways can you fill this space? You can fill this space in six ways. You can fill this place in six ways. You can fill this place in six ways, right? Because out of the six values, any one of those could come here. Now again, out of the six values, you can use any one of those values. Out of this six values, you can again use any one of those values, guys. So it is not as it is very easy to find. Now what is it? 6 into 6 into 6, 6 cube. Okay, so that is why I would have marked this as 6 cube. Watch this, 6 cube. Yes, so for a single die, what will happen? You will have only this. Okay, for a single die, you will have only this. So the answer is 6 power 1. For two dice, you will have only these two. So the answer is 6 into 6, 6 squared. Yes, so when there is a simultaneous three dice throw, then it will be 6 into 6 into 6, 6 cube. If we have 10 dices, you throw 10 dices simultaneously, what will happen? You will have 10 places like this, and it will become 6 into 6 into 6 into 6 into up to 10. So what is the answer? 6 power 10. Okay, so in general, if you are throwing a die, okay, the number of die will be at the power. That is the number of outcomes you will have. Okay, so if I throw 7 dice, the number of possible outcomes is 6 power 7. Okay, if I throw 8 dice, the number of possible outcomes is 6 power 8. If I throw 15 dice at a time, the number of possible outcomes is 6 power 15. Yes, now you are able to understand it. This is very important because we have many problems where you will have to know this. Okay, I don't want you to not know this when we get into the problem. So foundation, make sure you understand this. Now the same thing, I'm going to give you a different example. Right, the example is, see, now we threw a die and we had two possible outcomes. Sorry, six possible outcomes. Now we are going to toss a coin. Now you toss a coin, what do you think will happen, guys? How many possible outcomes? Only two. But previously we had six. Because we had six, we did 6 power 1, 6 power 2, 6 power 3, 6 power 4, 6 power n. We did that. But here, the maximum possible outcome itself is 2. So if I toss one coin, the possibility will be 2, right? If I toss one coin, the possibility will be 2, or in other words, see, it is 2 power 1. When I toss two coins, it will be four possible outcomes, it is 2 squared. When I toss three coins, it is 2 cubed. Okay, so this number 2 is determined by the total number of outcomes in that event. Here it is 2, so we take 2. Here it is 6, so we take 6, because when you throw a die, there are only 6 possible outcomes, right? When you throw a coin, there are only 2 possible outcomes. Let us suppose we have an event where there are 5 possible outcomes. Then it is 5 power 1, 5 power 2, 5 power 3, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to tell me what the answer is. I am throwing 7 coins, sorry, tossing. I am tossing 7 coins at a time. Okay. Now you tell me what the possible number of outcomes. Throwing 7 coins at a time, what are the possible number of outcomes? Just think about it. Maybe you can pause the video and then come back, guys. If you, okay, right. So I hope you got the answer. It is 2 power 7, right? Because if you do this, you one coin, 2 power 1 possibilities, 2 coins, 2 squared possibilities, 3 coins, 3 cube possibilities. And remember, not just 3 coins simultaneously. You have to toss them simultaneously. Only then they land simultaneously, right? Then it is the same thing. Draw. See, in the first case, you'll have one dash because you have one coin. So here the number of possibilities will be 2, right? Head or tail. Okay, in this space, this can have head or tail. In the second case, you have two dices. So when these two dices land, here you can have head or tail. Similarly, here also you can have head or tail, right? So 2 into 2 will give you 4 possible outcomes. Yeah, when it is 3 dices, here also you can have head or tail. Here also you can have head or tail. Here also you can have head or tail. So what will happen is it will be 2 into 2 into 2, which is 8 outcomes. Okay. And if still some of you did not get this, now you will get it. Okay. When two coins are tossed, these are the possibilities, guys. Yes. So did we get the 4 outcomes? Yes, when two coins are tossed, these are the 4 outcomes. Okay. When 3 coins are tossed, let's see what the outcomes are. Okay. So I'll write it at the top. 3 coins are tossed. So the first possibility you could say is HHH, then TTT, then HTH, then HST, then TTH, then we have THH, right? So we have THH and we have one more. So we have two more, and one is THT. Okay, one is THT. The other one is HHT, guys. No, oh, not HHT. H T H H T H. So it is HTT. Okay, so you can see we have the 8 possible combinations. Okay, because 3 dice is 3 coins are tossed. The first could have H, second would have H, third also could have H, or any of these permutations of it. Okay, so this is how it is done, guys. Okay, so whenever they give you 7 coins are tossed at a time, what is the possible number of outcomes? You just do 2 per 7. You know, 2 per 7, 2 per 5 is 32, right? So 2 per 6, 7 is 2 per 7 is 128. Okay, so this is going to help you. Okay, so understand this. This is going to help you. I see often people messing up this, so that is why I thought I'll put a slide on this. Right, we look at some basic problems here, guys. There are 52 cards in a pack of cards. Okay, you have to understand when it comes to probability or permutation combination, whenever they refer to this pack of cards thing, there are no jokers, right? No jokers, only 52 cards. And how do you classify the 52 cards? First, you'll have to understand how 52 cards are play. I mean, for what is the constituents of the 52 cards? What makes those 52 cards? You'll have to understand that because if you've been playing cards, you know it very well. But I know many of you won't play cards. So in that case, I'll have to explain, right? So make sure that you listen to this. even others, you listen to this so that you will see how it is being done in probability and permutation combination. So there are 13 cards each in all the four symbols. Okay, we have four symbols, as you can see: hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spade. Okay, I'll show you the symbol in the next slide. Okay, so hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spade. Hearts and diamonds, as you can see, are in red color, so which means that the cards will be in red color. Clubs and spade will be in black color. So you can see this clubs and spades are in black color. So 13 each in all four symbols. So totally how many you have? 13 into 4, 52. Yes, now you understand it. Yes, totally you'll have 13 into 4, 52, right? So now before we move on, I'd like to talk about those 13 cards first. Yes, some of you still might not know what those 13 cards are. The first card is A, guys. Okay, the second one is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, then it is not 11, it is J, J meaning Jack. Then it is Q, Q meaning Queen, and K, K meaning King. Now this is the 13 cards that I was talking about. Okay, just count it, you will find there are 13 cards. Now this 13 cards in all of the four symbols. Okay, so you will find this 13 cards in hearts symbol. You will find the same 13 cards in diamond symbol. You will find the same 13 cards in club symbol, and you will find the same 13 cards in spade symbol. Okay, so you'll have, so if I ask you how many kings are there in a pack of cards, what will be your answer? You have, see, in one symbol you have one king, so in four symbols you'll have four kings, right? That is the case for queen also. There will be four queens in a pack of cards. Not only for kings and queens, it is the same for the numbers also. If I ask you how many fives are there in a pack of cards, you should say four, because in each symbol it will have, each symbol will have one five, so four symbols will have four fives. Okay, so now that it is out of the thing, we will get into the questions now. A very basic question, guys. Probability of choosing a black card. Okay, so what is the probability of choosing a black card? Now I'm going to tell you how you approach this question. Yes, so don't be in a hurry to come up with answers, guys. I want to make sure your foundation is very strong, so that when it comes to difficult questions you will be able to do it very easily. Okay, don't be in a hurry to tell the answer. I know many of you would have got the answer by now, I know that. Okay, but still just try to listen to how I approach this. Okay, because if you practice it this way, you will never go wrong. Okay, sometimes going quick uh, is not good. Okay, sometimes, I'd say most of the times if you are going quick, it is not correct. Okay, you miss few things. Okay, um, you have to go slow. Okay, by going slow, what is happening is, by going slow you are going fast. Okay, you will understand this. This is not only for mathematics lesson, this is a life lesson that I'm telling you. Okay, in life you have to go slow. So that is why there is a proverb which says, what does it say? Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, so there is a reason why those proverbs come up, right? So you sometimes when you go slow, you think that you are going very slow. Oh, others are like way ahead of me, I am going very slow. Yes, if that is what that hare and tortoise, have you heard about it? The hare, yes, the hare, what it did was, um, it has speed, okay, which the tortoise doesn't have. Yes, what the hare did is, hare went, because of the overconfidence it had, it slept. Yes, in that story, it went fast. If it wanted, it could have gone to the end point quickly. Okay, but because of the overconfidence, thinking, oh, the tortoise is not going to catch up with me for at least until 1 hour, so I could sleep there for 1 hour and then easily reach it. Okay, this is the mistake that people do. Okay, now you might think that I might not do such mistakes. Why would I wait for that? No, what I am talking about is, that is just an example. When you are speed and everything is like very quick, you become complacent. When you become complacent, you fail to look at some important things, so you will have to slow down. You have to slow down a little bit. Okay, so I don't want this to become a philosophy class. Okay, anyway, now the probability of choosing a black card. Now how do you read this probability? So I told you, whenever you see this word probability, you have to replace it with favorable by total. So the favorable by total of choosing a black card, okay, or not favorable by total, you have to find the probability of choosing a black card. Now probability, as you know, is equal to favorable by total, right? So you know this is the formula. Now what is the total number of events here, or what is the total number of outcomes? In how many ways you are selecting, probability of choosing a black card, you are choosing one card, okay? So what, in how many ways you can do it? You can choose 52 cards, and out of 52 cards, in how many ways you can choose one card? 52 ways, right? So the total number of cards, or total number of outcomes here is 52, okay? You have 52 ways of choosing one card, correct? So that is 52. But what is the favorable event? It is a black card. So how many black cards do we have? I've told you we have two reds and two blacks, right? So how many blacks do we have? 26 blacks, okay? Half of it is blacks. So 26 by 52, which again will give you half as the answer, okay? And as you can see, I always told you your probability will always be a proper fraction, okay? This is a proper fraction. Proper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is less than the denominator, okay? So right now I want you guys to pause the video again, yeah? So pause the video guys, and then probability of choosing a king card, I want you guys to tell me, show me the probability of choosing a king card, okay? So probability of choosing a king card, so we'll see that guys, probability of choosing a king card. Pause the video, come up with answers, then we'll continue, okay? So yes, I hope you guys pause the video guys. The probability of choosing a king card, right? The probability of choosing a king card, right? Again, you same formula, probability is equal to favorable by total, okay? And you know the total number of cards is 52. How many kings are there? Four kings are there, I told you, right? Each king in one suit, okay? So 4 by 52, which will become 1 by 13, okay? So for this one it is 1 by 13. Again you can see 1 by 13 is a proper fraction. Now what is the probability of choosing two king cards? Okay, so again I want you to pause the video and come up with answers for this. Probability of choosing two king cards. So I want you guys to come up with answers for this, okay? So let's pause the video. Okay, so I hope you paused the video and came up with the answers for this. Probability of choosing two king cards, guys. Yes, probability of choosing how many king cards? Two king cards, right? Now, again the formula, probability is equal to favorable by total, okay? So I'll do probability is equal to favorable by total, okay? So do not change in this. But what is the total number of events? See, there are totally how many cards are there? 52. Out of the 52, how many are you choosing? Two, right? Because we have to find the probability of choosing two king cards. So you will have to choose two cards for you to get two king cards, right? So out of 52 you are going to choose two. So the total number of events is not 52, it is 52c2, okay? Total number of events is actually 52c2, okay? And what is your favorable event? Getting a king, or not getting king, getting two kings, okay? So how many kings are there? Four kings are there. Out of four kings, how many kings you have to choose? Two kings you have to choose. That is our favorable event. So our favorable event is 4c2 and total events is 52c2. Okay. So our favorable event will be 4c2 and total number of events will be 52c2. Don't make the mistake of doing 2 by 52 and say 1 by 26. That is wrong. Here it is what 52c2 and it is 4c2 because out of 52 you are choosing two cards. In the previous example we did not have this problem because we are choosing only one card. Okay guys, even there I want you to know, even there we used this combination formula but it was just hidden. So in the previous problem, do you remember we had to choose one card, black card, right? So our favorable outcome was 26c1, Okay, I skipped the C1, so that is why you did not, you might have not seen it. Our total outcome was 52C1. Okay, because we chose one card, it became 52C1 and 26C1. Here the problem is 26C1 is 26, 52C1 is 52. So it doesn't matter if you don't have this. Okay, so that is why when I just wrote 26 by 52. But there is a C there because we are choosing one card, it became irrelevant. When you choose two cards and three cards, it is very relevant. Okay, so you have to be careful there. So for this will give you, I guess the answer that this will give you is 6 by 1336, which is 1 by 221. And if you got that answer, well done, guys. So you maybe you already have some practice in this. But others, if this is the first time, make sure that you learn new things. When sum of the probabilities is equal to 1. This is also a very important thing to know before trying to solve the probability problem, guys. Okay, now I told you, you know very well, when you throw a die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, there are no two ways about it, guys. When you throw a die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now my question is the probability of getting a number greater than 4. Okay, this is the question that I am posing you, or I'm asking you. Okay, uh, probability of getting a number greater than 4. Okay, now what would be your answer be? Here the total outcomes is 6 and the favorable outcomes is numbers which are greater than 4. What are the numbers which are greater than 4? 5 and 6. So here the total number is 6, a total outcome is 6, favorable outcome is 2, so the probability is 1 by 3, right? So it becomes very easy, right? Now I'm going to tell you the opposite of this. Okay, opposite of what? I'm going to tell you the opposite of this. Now what this says is probability of getting a number greater than 4. Now if I tell you what is the probability of getting a number not greater than 4, okay, just add a not at the front. Okay, probability of getting number not greater than 4. Okay, just add a not to the front. You can use the same technique to all other examples also. Okay, just add a not to the front. So probability of getting a number not greater than 4. Now what will happen? Yes, see, a probability of not getting a number greater than 4. So you can use this not over here. Probability of getting a number not greater than 4. Okay. So totally there are 6. Okay. Now if it is not greater than 4, what are the possibilities? 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. So it is 4 out of 6, which in turn is 2 by 3. Now what you can clearly see is add this 1 by 3 and 2 by 3. What do you get? Add this 1 by 3 and 2 by 3, what do you get? You get 3 by 3. What is 3 by 3? 3 by 3 is 1. Right, guys? 3 by 3 is 1. So this is what I say when sum of the probabilities equal 1. When does the sum of the probabilities equal 1? When the probability of an event happening and the probability of an event not happening. Okay, you add them both, you'll always get 1. Okay, so a probability of an event happening and a probability of an event not happening, you add them both, you will always get 1. So see, that is what it is marked here. Look at the thing that is marked in red. It says probability of an event happening, probability of the same event. Okay, the same event. Okay, same event not happening, you add them both, you should get 1 as the value. Okay, which is 1 is the total probability. Okay, so this we'll be using in problems, so that is why I want you to understand this upfront so that you have the necessary basics. Right, we'll work out a few problems, guys, so that you get an understanding. Okay, some basic problems. You know this, right? Probability of throwing more than 5 in a single throw of a die. Yes. Now again, probability is favorable by total. Okay. So you know when you throw a die, these are the possibilities. Now possibility of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the possibilities. Probability of getting a number greater than 5 is total by favorable. Now total is 6. Okay, favorable is only 1, right? 1, because the number greater than 5 is 6. So your favorable outcome is just 6. So out of this 6, only this 6 is your favorable outcome. All of the 6 are total. So 1 by 6 you will get. Now tell me 1 by 6, what is the value? 0.17. Okay, so the answer here is 0.17. So you will choose option A. So you can see the formula there. Okay. Now the next question, guys. So pay attention, close attention. There are 6 cards which has 2 king cards in it, right? So there are 6 cards and you have 2 king cards in it. Okay. Um, the important thing here is, right, so there are 6 cards, guys, which has 2 king cards in it. Okay, so you have 6 cards. Out of the 6 cards, you have 2 king cards, right? Now all cards are turned down and 2 cards are open. Okay, so you have to imagine those things. No, you don't need to imagine. I have the cards for you. Yes, I have the cards for you. So you can see the cards here. What is the possibility to get at least one king, and what is the possibility to get two kings? Okay, now before we start this, I want you guys to understand this at least thing and utmost thing. People often get confused. Okay, when we say at least one, it means the minimum is one. Okay, it must have a minimum of one. Then what is the maximum? Maximum can be anything. Okay, your maximum can be anything. At least one tells you that the minimum should be one. Okay, you cannot have zero, right? At least one says minimum is one, maximum can be anything. So if there are uh, three kings, okay, if there are three kings, then I tell you to choose, in how many ways can you choose at least one king? Then one king comes under that, two kings also comes under that, three kings also comes under that. Choosing three kings also comes under that, because at least one is one, two, three. Okay, minimum is one, maximum they don't specify any value. What doesn't come under that is zero kings. Yes, what doesn't come as zero king. So this is not at least one. Okay, when you have three kings, when they say at least one king, you have to look at this one king, two king, three kings. So these are the possibilities. These are at least one. This is the opposite of that. This is not at least one. Okay, now there is a key understanding here. Now I told you the probability of an event happening, right? So the probability of at least one is, let us say you have a value. Okay, so the probability of this and the probability of this will be equal to what? Probability of this and the probability of this will be equal to what? Is 1, right? Yes, this is the probability of at least 1. This is the probability of not at least 1. Okay, so this 0 kings is not at least 1, right? So this is the probability of at least 1, this is the probability of not at least 1. You add those two things, you will always have 1 as the probability. Okay, this is how we apply it in the problems, guys. So I just wanted to make sure you understand this. Now here I'll also talk about utmost. Whenever I say the utmost 3, it means the maximum limit is 3. Okay, but minimum you can have anything. Okay, so minimum, maximum is 3, minimum can be anything. It could be 0, 1, 2. Okay, you can have 0, 1, 2, any of the three values, or 0, 1, 2 is allowed. In at most 3, 0, 1, 2 is allowed, but a number beyond 3 is not allowed. Okay, you cannot have 4, you cannot have 5, you cannot have 6. All these things are not possible. So this is at most. When they say at most, this is the meaning. At most sets the maximum boundary beyond which you cannot go. At least sets the minimum boundary beyond which you cannot go down. Okay, at most you cannot go up beyond that. At least you cannot go down beyond that. Okay, so I hope you understand that well. Right, so there are 6 cards. It has 2 cards in it. All cards are turned down and 2 cards are opened. Okay, now there are 6 cards, guys. They say out of the 6 cards we have 2 kings. Okay, that is sure. So we have 2 kings, that is sure, but the rest of the 4 cards could be anything. Okay, so the question doesn't specify what the rest of the 4 cards are. So as you can see here, I have all the 6 cards with 2 kings in it. Okay, so this is what is given. They are all turned down, obviously. Now they are all facing us, right? No, they won't be facing us. The faces will be turned down so that you don't know what is which card is what. Okay, now what you are doing is, you are all cards are turned down and two cards are open. So out of these, two cards are open. What is the possibility to get at least one king? Okay, what is the possibility to get at least one king? Okay, so this is the thing. Now what is the possibility to get at least one king? Now we'll see the possibility of getting at least one king. See, how many cards are you drawing, guys? You are drawing two cards. So the possibility is you can either have one king and one some other card, right? That is a possibility. One king, one some other card, right? Yes, if you have a look, it says one king and one other card. Okay, so you could have one king and one other card. And now why do we have this one king? Because it says at least one. So you should not consider options where you don't have kings. You must consider options where you have at least one king. So one king and one other card, because we are drawing two cards, right? So one king and one other card. Now this one king could be drawn in how many ways? How many kings are there? Two kings. Out of these two kings, this one king can be drawn in two ways, right? You can either draw this king or this king. Yes, and if these are the symbols, guys. I said I'll talk about symbols. This is diamond symbol, and this is red in color. This heart symbol, this is red in color, and as I told you, this is the spade symbol. Okay, this king has the spade symbol. This black in color, and this is the club symbol. This 9 has the club symbol. This is also black in color, right? So one king and one other card. This one king can be chosen from two kings in 2C1 ways. Okay, and this one other card could be chosen from the remaining four cards, yes, in 4C1 ways. So that is 4C1. So this will give you 2C1 into 4C1. This is the favorable outcome, because this is what we want, right? They are asking us to find the possibility, or in other words probability. I told you both are same words, right? What is the probability to get at least one king? So the favorable outcome is at least one king. So our favorable outcome we mentioned. What is the total outcome? Totally how many cards we have? Six cards. Out of that, how many you are taking out? Two cards. So it is 6C2, right? Very simple. 6C2. That's it. You have the answer. So this will be 8 by 15, sorry, 9 by 15. Okay, sorry. It is not, yeah, 9 by 15, which will be 3 by 5. Okay. Now some of you might be wondering, where did this 2C2 came from? Yes, I hope you get that answer. Okay. I hope you get that question. 2C2, where did this come from? Okay. Now it came about, guys, because I told you there is a possibility of one king and one other card, right? There is a possibility of one king and one other card. But at least one also means the two cards that you take can be kings, right? Yes, this is also a possibility. When you're trying to pick two cards, one could be king, one could be other card. Yes, that is at least one. Or by chance you could take both the two cards to be kings. Yes, that is also a possibility, right? And that is also at least one. Okay, so this or this. Okay, when you have or, it is plus. So when I say two kings, and how many ways can you select two kings? You can select two kings from 2C2 ways. Yes, 2 out of 2 kings can be selected in 2C2 ways. So you can see there is 9 by 15, which is 3 by 5. So the answer is 3 by 5, guys. Now what is the possibility of getting two kings? So here they made it clear, both the cards should be king. Okay, now there is only one possibility, right? Two kings, you have to pick them, both of them. So the favorable is 2C2 and our total is 6C2. So if you solve this, you will get 15 by 1. Okay, so 1 by 15 is the probability, right? So right, so I'll meet you in another video, guys.